Happy Friday and welcome to Afternoon Cocktail. My name is Amanda Ashley. I'm your host this afternoon. Today's show theme is empowerment, and I brought along two fierce female forces with me today. Miss Tess Padmore, she's a children's author right here in Rochester, New York. And I also have Sarah, the very gifted and beautiful Sarah Rogers from Buffalo, New York, to perform some of her original music. And we're going to roll right into it. So Miss Sarah, are you there? Sarah
Am I
Rogers.
starting with my song More Than My Name, right?
Yes. So Sarah, I don't see you.
I'm here.
There.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I want to be able to see your face. We're just full of all the technical glitches this afternoon, aren't we? Let's see. So Sarah's going to perform for us one of her songs as soon as we get her video running.
I'll just play a little intro until we can see me.
Sure, that sounds good. There we go. Hey, lady. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. You know, we're all hanging in here. So tell us about your first song. You're going to perform one of your original songs, correct?
Yeah. So this first song that I'm going to perform is called More Than My Name. It's a song that I wrote last May, so May of 2019. The process of this one was I wrote it before I even got out of bed in the morning. It's my favorite song story that I have. I have a daily reader that I keep next to my bed, and one of the readings from that day was about this idea that we're all kind of more than the labels that we've either given ourselves or other people have given us. And so that's the meaning behind this song, and I'll speak a little bit about it afterwards. So this is More Than My Name.
Amazing. Take it away.
I'm more than my name. I'm a lover, a sister, a friend. And I'm actually more than how people think they know me. I am more than my pain. I'm a warrior, a daughter, a saint. Underneath all of that, there is something that I'll never see. The things that have come to define me can't claim my heart or my spirit, not even my name. My breath has no history, it feels right to say that I am a girl and this song is my flame. Ooh. I've been waking up to the woman that I'm meant to be. She is strong and outrageous, and sometimes she walks out on me. But we're making it work. There's a trust that was not there before. She sleeps gently and always wakes up when I knock on her door. She's living inside me and it's hers to claim. My heart and my spirit and maybe my name. The breath has a history, it feels right to say that I am a girl and this song is my flame. Ooh, 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 ooh. by the vision of yesterday. I'm tired of pretending I have to let her stay. There's just no other way. And I'll never go back to the hiding, the mask, and the shame. There's a reason I'm here on this earth, lighting this flame. She's living inside me, and it's hers to claim. My heart and my spirit, and maybe my name. My breath has a history, it feels right to say that I am a girl and this song is my flame. That I am a girl and this song is my flame.
Sarah.
Yay.
So beautiful.
Thank
so
you.
Beautiful. Your sound is just so pure, and I just love everything about you. I do.
Thank you so much.
So tell me about, you said that song actually talks to our theme today, correct? It's about empowerment?
Yeah. So that song, particularly for me at this time in my life, I was thinking a lot about labels and the way that we introduce ourselves to other people, and how we often introduce ourselves as our name, and then if we go further, maybe our profession or something like that, kind of an identifier. And in my own life, I was kind of going through this process of realizing that I'm so much more than the things that maybe I say that I am. Like when I say I'm a musician or a music therapist or I'm Sarah, like what does that really mean? And in the work that I do, I work with a lot of people who from first impression or when you first meet them, there's a lot that you wouldn't know about them, and a lot of their gifts and most beautiful qualities aren't obvious. And I think that's the way it is for all humans. And so this song was kind of this idea that within each of us, there's this kind of divine energy and almost unexplainable power that's in every single one of us. And it's more than just the names that other people give us or the names that we give ourselves. And so that's what this song was for me. And the flame in my life is music and being able to create things. And I think that we each have a flame in each of us. And part of empowerment for me is recognizing that flame in ourselves, but also recognizing that flame in other people and being a force that can help make that flame brighter.
Amazing. And this is exactly why I've invited you on the show. I mean, I just think you're so intelligent, your music's so beautiful. And I mean, I want to get into a little bit more about your work with musical therapy. But before I do that, I mean, I've seen you perform in so many different forms. So when I first met you, you were performing with a good mutual friend of ours, Meg Williams, who's now in Nashville, rocking out. And, you know, I've seen you perform trumpet, you play guitar, you sing beautifully, you write beautifully. Is there anything else you play or anything else I need to know about you before I find out?
You pretty much checked all the boxes. Yeah, I play a little bit of piano. I play some ukulele too. But trumpet, guitar, and voice are my main three things. And it's so cool because I really only started doing my own original material last year. And before that, I was a trumpet player in a lot of different bands. And as a trumpet player, you can get a lot of work doing a lot of different music, which is so cool. And I think that the experience that I've had in all different types of bands, I've played in ska bands, funk bands, wedding bands, rock bands, jazz bands. And my experience doing all of that stuff has kind of shaped my voice and shaped the way that I view myself as a writer and a musician. So I think it all goes together. So yeah, I have kind of a really eclectic musical repertoire and experience.
I love it. I think that's what makes you such an outstanding musician too. You know, you expose yourself to so much. And I mean, that that only is going to come back in a positive way. What is your primary instrument? Is it trumpet?
So trumpet's the instrument that I played like all through school. I played in bands and stuff, and then I studied classical and jazz trumpet at Nazareth College, which is where I got my music therapy degree. I would actually consider my main instrument to be voice, though. That's like I was saying in that song, that's my flame for me. That's really where I found my true voice. You know, before we started this show, we were talking with Tess, and Tess was saying how she's been able to find her voice through different types of arts. And for me, my singing voice is where I've really found my voice. That's where I've really found my self-worth, and just everything about me I found through singing and through music. So I would consider my voice to be my primary, but then trumpet and then guitar.
Sure. Well, singing is it's so personal because it's your body. It's you.
Yes.
You know, it's not a tangible item. And I always say this to the people I instruct too. You know, there's something special about having that vocal ability and to be able to express yourself through your body like that, and through your body and soul and your mind. All of those things come together. I could definitely grasp what you mean by what you're saying.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, I mean, when you studied in Nazareth, music therapy was your major?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was it? So was it a requirement there to learn harp?
No.
No?
Mm-hmm.
I went to Fredonia and I almost switched to music therapy because I was like, oh, it was a requirement to learn harp. And I thought that was the coolest thing.
That's
and I was
amazing.
Like, well, maybe I'll do that. I had no idea what the heck I wanted to do with my life. So
yeah.
Yeah, very cool. I was just curious about that. But I mean, to be a musical therapist, that takes a certain special someone, a special personality, and a very giving personality. What would you say is the most gratifying part of being a musical therapist? I mean, you're empowering people on a daily basis. So, I mean, and people of all different ages, colors, abilities. I mean,
Yeah.
What part of that inspires you to write, to go about your daily life? Like what feels the most gratifying part of that?
So I do want to say that as a music therapist, even though I'm able to give the gift of music or connection to the people I work with, I also feel that they give just as much to me. And it's something that I really love about my profession. I've really, really, really learned empathy skills through the work that I do. And I think that's the most important thing we can have as a human, is the ability to be empathetic, because there's no way we're going to get the chance to know exactly how somebody else feels. We only have our body in this life. But the ability to be compassionate and recognize and maybe think about what it would be like to live a bit differently is really important. And that's the biggest lesson I've learned from my work. But what's the most gratifying thing in my work is that I'm able to guide people on this journey to find independence and find success with whatever deck of, or whatever hand of cards they've been dealt in life. And to me, that's the empowerment I see in my work, is that I want people.
Uh-oh.
Did I lose it there for a second? Am I back?
Yeah, just for a second. I'm glad you're back though.
I want the people that I work with to know that whatever they have is enough to make them amazing. That whatever you're born with, whether that's some type of disability, whether that's some type of exceptional ability, that's enough. That's plenty. And I think that's the same for anybody across the board, even typically functioning people. What you have and what you do is plenty, and it's enough to be more than amazing. So with music, I can experience anybody who has any type of physical ability. You can be successful with music in some capacity, and that's just amazing, because there's lots of things in the world that we live in that are not readily available and accessible to people that have different types of abilities, but music is one of those things. It's always accessible, it's always available, and people can always find this successful and like deeply personal relationship with music.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you.
tell me about Girl Crush. So this is kind of the segue outside of your musical therapy, but you're a professional musician. You perform around Buffalo. You're from Buffalo, New York originally, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you're from Buffalo, New York, and you came to Rochester for school. You went back to Buffalo, and I see you performing out all the time. Um, the one group, I know you perform with a few different groups and a few different
Mm-hmm.
people, but the one thing that caught my eye was Girl Crush. It seems like it's
Yeah.
a newer project for you. Is this an original project? Tell
Yeah,
me
so
about
Girl
it.
Crush started in just this past December, actually, maybe November. I don't know. It started very recently. And it started out of the idea that one of my best girlfriends in Buffalo, Courtney Costanzo, her performing name is Courtney Chime. We actually were backup singers in a wedding band together. And we loved singing together so much that we formed this duo called Girl Crush. And we originally were performing just at restaurants and bars, and we were doing all female written songs or songs written for women. And then I started to do some of my original stuff with her. And then we added one of our other girlfriends here, Alex MacArthur, to the group. And we started doing more original stuff. And then we added one of our female friends, Candace Simone Thomas, who's a drummer here. Sometimes my partner, Nelson, fills in on drums. And we do a lot of original music and also, as I said before, music written for and by females. So it's kind of just a celebration of women in music. And it's so, so fun. It's so, so fun to share the stage with women. It's so, so fun to share the stage with female musicians and your best friends singing music that just naturally empowers you.
I love it. So the music that you're performing with Girl Crush, is that music that you both are you and Courtney, did you say?
So some of it is music that I've written myself. Some of it's music that Alex MacArthur also plays some originals with us. And so we've got three voices doing some of my originals, some of Alex's originals. And then we do like Carole King, we do some Aretha, we do like Dua Lipa. It's a huge range of different things. Some Britney Spears, some Spice Girls, and then we kind of put our own twist on it.
Girl, you're talking about language. I love it.
Yes.
I want to hear you guys. I hope you come out to Rochester sometime.
Yeah, we
If
actually,
not, maybe I'll catch you in Buffalo.
We're missing out on a lot of shows that we had booked in this stretch here, which is okay. It's awesome. It's giving us lots of time to practice and write new material. So yeah, we're definitely hoping to book more shows, and we'll head over to Rochester soon. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. Please, I would love to hear you as an ensemble. It sounds awesome. I want to leave you off with maybe one more question here. So where can we find your music? Do you have your own originals or your own music posted online somewhere, or do you have an album that we could?
So I'm actually in the process. That's one of my goals for this year, is to release an EP. So this time at home is giving me some more time to record some demos and do things. I don't currently have it done, but my YouTube channel has a lot of my originals posted on it. And I also share a lot of clips on my Instagram and my Facebook page. So if you look up Sarah Rogers Music on YouTube or on Facebook, both of those places I update regularly and post a lot of videos. And also on my YouTube page, what I've been doing over this self-quarantine time is I've been posting music therapy-esque videos every day for little ones to tune into. A lot of adults have been watching them too as well, which is great. So I've been posting those every day. So if you have little ones at home and you want to do some music with your kiddos during this time, my YouTube channel has a lot of that in addition to my originals.
I love it. Sarah, you're amazing. We'll be hearing more from Sarah Rogers later in the program. She's going to play us another one of her original songs. Thank you so much for being a part of the show and for taking the time to speak with us and give us some words of encouragement, beautiful words of encouragement. I'm going to switch over to my good friend, Miss Tess Padmore. Tess, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, girl, what's going on?
It's so good that you're doing the show again. I was excited.
I know. You bring me back to my roots.
Yeah,
So,
back to you, Beachy Day.
Tess and I actually met at Afternoon Cocktail. So this show had taken place about 5 or 6 years ago, but it was a little bit different format. And I was running it with Udici TV, which is those guys were ahead of their time. Chuck,
Yeah,
shout out to Chuck and Tim. They're amazing guys. And hopefully I'd love to get them both on here at some point. I'd love to work with Tim too.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
So I just want to talk to you because, you know, you've been using your time wisely. It's been a little bit of time since we've last, I mean, we follow each other on Facebook and so on and so forth, but during this time gap, since we've last physically seen each other, you've done this.
Yes.
So you've released a children's book, which I love. And once I saw that you posted that, I automatically like just ordered it because Tess is such a brilliant mind and such a beautiful woman. And I just couldn't imagine anything not beautiful coming out of you. And for me to be able to share this with my child, I read to him almost every night, you know, just about, I try to read to him as much as I can, you know, so I've read this book to him and he likes it. Tell me about Remember Rudy, why you wrote it.
Well, actually, I write creative nonfiction. I didn't consider myself a children's book writer. And when Rudy died, I wrote this piece called Remember When, the day after he died. And it was written as prose. And it talked about all the memories about him. But then when my editor saw it, she said it would be a perfect children's book. And so I hesitated because he passed in 2010 and I didn't really want my first book to be a children's book. But then at some point I said, you know what, you need to publish the book that's done. so last year I published it. And what I have found is it's been extremely fulfilling to have done a children's book. Last fall, I was reading to first and second graders. And in one classroom, I was actually sitting in a rocking chair and reading and interacting with the children. And the thought went through my mind, this is what it's really all about. Because I could see what it was bringing to them and I could see what they were giving back to me. And so then I stepped back and said, you write what you write. You publish what you publish. You are who you are. And so I view it differently now. I'm a writer and I write differently.
Sure. I think writing a children's book might seem like it's an easy thing. You know, coming from somebody that I'm sure writes in depth and, you know, you have so much heart and soul into everything you do and you say, I could see where you would be like, yeah, I don't know if I want that to be my first release, so to say. But I think there's a lot to be said in a few pages, you know, like fewer pages than writing a novel. What I took from this book and what I loved is for anybody that's lost a beloved pet, that memory, like I think about my dog, my dog passed unexpectedly like a month after my son arrived. And I literally was devastated. She was my everything, you know, like she was my core in Rochester for, you know, like she went through a lot of stuff with me, moved, you know, got shuffled around to a bunch of places. And when she left the earth, I was really devastated. I cried for an entire month, you know, and you sense that love and adoration that a pet brings. A pet brings so much joy to your life, to your family. And maybe not every single person feels that way, but I'm sure anybody that's had a dog or a cat or any animal that they had for an extended amount of time, that they become an extension of you, an extension of your family life. And I really get that sense in this book. It's heartwarming.
One of the interesting things in working with the kids, and it was really the objective, was to help them deal with grief. And it's told in a story that's not sad. It's funny, It's happy, it's uplifting. And when I work with the children, what I find, we talk about their pets, but eventually there's one or two children who have lost their grandparents. And they talk about their grandparent. And then I use that as a way to say, well, what are the things that you remember about your grandparent? What was the happy time? And so it's not grade level specific. Some words are a little hard for younger children, and the schools don't classify it by grade level. But what it does, I think, is gives kids an opportunity to approach grief in a different way, to remember that it's not a time of sadness, it's really a time of remembering, and we talked about it earlier, moments in time. Moments in time.
I love what you were saying about moments in time. I mean, you, Sarah, and I were all, you know, we had a nice little conversation before we even went live. And, you know, this is a moment in time that none of us ever expected to live, you know. How, how would you, I mean, to elaborate more on what you had mentioned earlier, but also like, how would you, can you provide some encouraging words? Like, I mean, today our theme is empowerment.
Right.
What does that word mean to you, and why do you feel like it's more important now than ever to empower those around you?
Well, I think we have this sense right now of the world closing in, but I've had these experiences recently. Primarily, my grandchildren getting older. My granddaughter's 13. My grandson just turned 18. And my daughter's older. And I look back and I think, you know, when we have a child, how long does it last when you're holding that child in your arms and they're looking up at you in their eyes and you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, okay? And so this too is a moment in time. It will seem like an eternity, but the reality is we will come out of this and our lives may not be the same again, but the best thing we can do is just keep moving forward. Always have to keep moving forward. And anyone that knows me knows my favorite quote is, get busy living or get busy dying. And so we have to find things that comfort us right now. And we have the advantages of technology. So I get to see my grandchildren every day. They're here in Rochester, but thanks to technology, I can see them. I'm helping them cook meals. They want to make it grandma's way. And if we didn't have the technology, I wouldn't have that opportunity. So, you know, I just feel like life is too short. Gotta live it like every day is the last. Treasure what you have and don't give up. Just keep moving forward.
Absolutely. So what's next for you? You have another project in the works, or multiple
Yes,
projects in the
I have
works?
a million projects, but my editor said to me, you've written one children's book. Now you know you have to do the next one. I had hoped the coming of age book would be next because the first draft is done. But I so much enjoyed, to be honest, I enjoyed doing the children's book because I didn't think of it as a children's book. I was just writing. So the second book will be called Twin Tales. And it's about the Yorkie Chihuahua siblings that I adopted. They're rescue dogs, and I got them when they were 8 months old. And they spent the first 8 months of their life in a crate the size for Chihuahuas. And they helped heal me from the loss of Rudy. They're little characters. They're very different. And so taking a different approach with this one I hope to have done by the end of this year. I'm writing it first person from their perspective. So they're telling their story. And then I'm using photographs that I've taken of them. There's a whole series of photographs. And they're my twins. They're downstairs now yapping because they're not up here.
I got to meet them a little bit earlier.
But that's the biggest project next in terms of writing is getting the next book out called Twin Tales.
Lovely.
And just released Remember Rudy in Spanish. All my books will be in English and Spanish.
How great is that? Amazing. Do you speak Spanish? Like, do you speak Spanish fluently? Or?
Spanish and speaking it over the years. But I also wanted, because there are a lot of children who speak English in school, but they're in Spanish-speaking households. And so I wanted the children to be able to share the book with their parents or give the parents who only speak Spanish an opportunity to read the book to their children. So all of my books will be in English and Spanish.
You know what's interesting? One of my friends from Puerto Rico actually learned how to speak English from children's books.
Right.
Children's books. And another friend of mine also learned to speak English when he came to America through the Beatles. Remember the Beatles had, I think it was maybe Yellow Submarine, or when they had their animated movies.
Right.
the ball would just kind of, you know, go along with the words, and he'd sing along with it. And that's how he learned English. So I've heard that before many times, that people that speak other languages, they pick up, because it teaches you all the important words and the emotions that are tied to it, but that you could actually pick up another language by reading children's books. I think that's
my
pretty
editor
fascinating.
actually told me the same thing. She said that, you know, once I had the Spanish version out, then I could approach the organizations that teach English, because they use children's books.
I think that's an excellent idea. I love it. I love it. Tess, I adore you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Where can they find your, so I believe I ordered my book on Amazon. Does that sound right?
You ordered it on my website. It was on my website. It's www.wolfclan with a C, LLC.com/remember Rudy. And when you go to order the book, once you get there, you can select either English or Spanish.
I love it. Get your copy of Remembering Rudy. For anybody that has had a pet pass on, for anybody that has children, it's just a beautiful book to have and add to your collection. I love it. Thank you. And thank you for being a part of this.
And it is on
Miss Sarah. It is on Amazon. I'm pretty sure I ordered mine from Amazon.
You bought it directly from me, but it is on Amazon as well.
Okay. I wasn't sure. But awesome. Well, I look forward to, you know, reading more.
Same here.
And best of luck to you, and happy writing.
I'm glad you're back on the air.
Yeah, me too. This is fun. You know, I was saying to you and Sarah, if you want to chime in, because we're going to bring Sarah back for another song. I was saying to you guys earlier, you know, I was watching the news last night, and there was a psychiatrist that came on, and she was talking about social distancing. I don't know why I can't say that. Social distancing. And she was actually saying that she wishes that word never came about, because it's not about social distance as it is about physical distance right now. And I really do believe that with having technology like this, the fact that I'm able to put on a show like this for all of you, you know, and to be connected and have conversations with brilliant people 3 times a week, it's really brought a little bit more routine back into my life. It's made me grateful for the technology that we've already been given, and grateful for the technology that we're beginning to expand on, and what this technological revolution what's gonna come about because of all of this. So to me, there's a little bit of a silver lining beneath all this darkness. But
well, and my grandson knows now how to make grandma's broiled salmon with lemon juice.
Hey, check that out. And maybe he wouldn't have.
Maybe he wouldn't have.
Yeah, we all have time, you know, and I keep saying that, you know, like, take this time, like, cook, do all those things that you didn't have time for before, and make the most of it, you know. But thank you so much, Taz. Sarah, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, lovely. So tell me about this last song you're going to perform for us. I'm going to have Sarah close out our show, and this song is about being at home, correct?
Yeah. So this last song that I'm going to perform is called You Are Home, and I wrote it last week, actually, and it's kind of last Sunday, I think. I was kind of feeling, and I still am a little bit every day, feeling just like a little bit out of place in this new normal that we're kind of getting used to and getting acquainted with. And I was talking with a friend of mine, and she leads wonderful meditations, and we were talking about this kind of idea of, and I was saying this with you two before, this theme of kind of looking inwards to open up to others, and having this time to be intuitive and listen to what we need and what the people in our house need. And this is the idea that even if our lives are a little bit weird sometimes, we always have this home available to us in our bodies. And even if we don't have the same physical access to spaces that we're familiar with, whether that's going to a workplace or to school, because for many people, sometimes routine feels like home to them. Or sometimes physical spaces, whether that's going into work or for a lot of kids going to school, can feel like home for them and give them a sense of comfort and safety. And the idea that we actually always have this home available to us right in our own bodies. And I think kids all the way up through adults need that reminder sometimes that you are able to feel safe in this home that you've been given, which is your body. So that's what this song is about.
I love it. Well, take it away. Thank you so much for being a part of this again and for sharing your beautiful music and your beautiful mind with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Amanda. And it was so nice to meet you too, Tess.
Nice to meet you.
There are days when I'm feeling like I just can't find my place. Everywhere I go, there's something in my way, yeah. So I slow it down. I look within and open up and take a deep breath. I feel the heartbeat in my chest. I feel the warmth from a love so strong, and it's been there all along. You're not alone, you are home. It takes time to listen to my heart and not my mind. I get caught up in my thoughts and I get scared, so I slow it down. I look within and open up and take a deep breath. I feel the heartbeat in my chest. I feel the warmth from a love so strong, and it's been there all along. I'm not alone, I am home. When I choose love, I begin to heal. A trust so strong and a peace so real. A love so deep that it holds my fears. When I choose love, I begin to heal. So take a deep breath. I feel the heartbeat in your chest. I feel the warmth from a love so strong, and it's been there all along. You're not alone. I take a deep breath and feel the heartbeat in your chest. I feel the warmth from a love so strong, and it's been there all along. You're not alone, you are home. You are not alone, you are home.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I can't say that word enough for both of you. Thank you so much for being a part of Afternoon Cocktail Hour, episode 4. So I want to leave you guys off, as per usual, with some encouraging words and to kind of summarize this whole show. Attitudes are contagious, and that fact is especially important when you're working to empower others. If you want to be successful at empowering people, you need to be mindful of how you show up, how you respond, how you react, and how you also deal with conflict. Having the right attitude is everything. Just about everyone has the potential to empower others. So start looking for opportunities today and see your leadership grow. Cheers. Thank you to Sarah Rogers. Thank you to Tess Padmore. Please check out Sarah's music. Go order Tess's book. And I hope to see you all back here at 1 p.m. on Monday, as long as technology allows us to go on at 1. See you guys here at 1 p.m. Monday for Afternoon Cocktail Hour, episode 5. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Amanda.
Amanda.
Thank you. Oops, sorry.